Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly, what am I going to be here? Your friendly guide to the Mortal Realms today, because today we are going to be, we were going to be playing our regular Traveler campaign, Traveler 2nd edition from Mongoose Publishing, but we found out over the course of the morning that we had a few players that were not available today, so we decided to not make, to make use of our found time, and we are going to be returning to Cubicle 7's outstanding Age of Sigmar RPG, Soulbound. This is a one of the many Warhammer games that they publish, and it has a game mechanic completely separate from any of the other ones that they have published thus far. But it's a pretty neat game. For those unfamiliar with the setting, it is kind of a it is a post-apocalyptic game. But it's kind of a post-apocalypse as things are being built back up after the end of the world. We're not going to get too much into the lore for today's session because we've got two players who have not played Soulbound before. So let me introduce you to them, and then we'll talk a little bit about the actual game, and then we'll get into playing. So first up, we've got Graham. Why don't you tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what's your experience with the Age of Sigmar?
Okay, I'm Graham. And I'm playing Zan Bemir, who is a Excelsior war priest, an intimidating Warhammer wielding priest of Sigmar who holds no bounds. My experience with Soulbound is zero. And my experience although I'm a Brit, I have to admit my experience of the Warhammer sort of universe is actually fairly minimal. It goes back to first edition 40 years ago, and I've not played virtually nothing since.
Okay. So it'll be neat because this is a very different setting, and we'll talk about one of the most significant things that makes it different in a moment here. But first, let's meet our other player. It's David.
Hi everyone, I'm David, and I'm playing Imran Silgair, a Sharon Tidecaster, which I think is a type of wizard. Like Graham, I know nothing about Age of Sigmar. I'm sort of familiar with Warhammer, the larger setting. I've played one or two games in it. Never played the miniature game, so yeah, I'm a complete newbie to this to an extent.
Nice.
Excited for it.
Excellent. And for those listening at home as well who may be more conversant with it, I have not run Age of Sigmar or Soulbound, nor plan to run it for a while. So we had a little bit of scramble this morning. I'm for sure going to get things wrong this morning, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully, I'm going to try not to get any lore wrong, but I'm fairly confident we're going to get some rules wrong, so do forgive us for that. We figure more fun to play a game in an imperfect understanding rather than not play it at all. So one of the things that so I mentioned that Soulbound is, or the Age of Sigmar is a post-apocalypse. Technically speaking, this is the world after the end of one version of the old world. In the canon, as published by the Black Library novels, the world of the Age of Sigmar, the world of the old world was destroyed. And then out of the ashes of that came what would become the Age of Sigmar world. A realm, I think it's 10 or 12 realms, I think it's 10 realms, called the Mortal Realms. Each of these kind of aligns with the different winds of magic that were present in the old world. So if you're familiar with those whatsoever, there was, Akshi was the wind of fire. There was Azure, I believe, was the wind of the Celestials. I think, maybe, I don't know. I really need to read that source book again. But what's happened is they've stabilized it to basically 10 different realms, and then thousands of years pass, and one of the gods that survived it was Sigmar, who was kind of the god of the empire in the old world setting. He has survived the destruction wrought by chaos, and unfortunately, in addition to him, there were other more dangerous threats. Other gods survived the end of the world, and slowly they all sort of started trying to piece together a civilization with the mortals and non-mortals that survived that. There were different species as well that survived. Humans continue to be humans. The dwarves are now known as Dwarden, and broadly speaking in the game you'll see two different varieties of that. One of them is the Caradhran Overseers, who are they basically made their kind of civilization, or built their civilization around these flying ships and flying kind of flying cities and whatnot. And then there are others who worship a now dead god of Grimnir, who are the fire something or other. What are they called? There are archetypes in here. Where are you, buddy? It's not them. They are the Fire Slayers. Yeah, the Fire Slayers. So they actually take the gold that is the blood of their god, imbue it on their skin, and they become these enchanted, creatures. Elves likewise survived, although they are called the... I don't want to call it the Elfar, but I think that might be right. Here we go, the Peoples. Where are you? The elves are called... the Elf. That's a hard one to remember. And in addition to that, Sigmar took mortals and reforged them and basically created them into kind of like living demigods called the Stormcast Eternals. And the Stormcast Eternals, when they die, there is a chance that they'll be recalled back, reforged, and then sent back out again. In a outside of the narrative kind of thing, it's a way of having your Space Marine cake and eating it too, because the Stormcast Eternals happen to be oversized men and women who wear big, heavy fucking armor and serve an emperor. So, like, if you know that you're selling an awful lot of Space Marine figs, I guess it makes sense to have in the setting a version of that. But they're actually a pretty interesting character to play in the role-playing game, because your character may remember some of your previous lives, and you may remember who you were before you became a Stormcast Eternal. Some of them, Stormcast Eternals, are relatively recently forged, and some are ancient, hundreds and thousands of years old. What happened in the Mortal Realms then is, as the gods started, creating the civilization once again and building up things in the different realms, what returned was chaos. And chaos began, and it was the now five chaos gods, actually. The four chaos gods that were the classics of the Warhammer setting: Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, and Khorne. And then now the Horned Rat has been given the honor of the god who created or is served by the Skaven Ratmen. He also has become, or it has also become, a chaos god. So chaos came back and began basically consuming the mortal realms, and all the gods retreated and hid themselves in their different realms. There are things called realm gates that travel between the different mortal realms, and those became, obviously, for obvious reasons, strategic strong points. Either places for trade where big communities grew up, or they became places to war over. And sometimes they shut down, and sometimes they rebuilt. Most recently, what's happened is that Sigmar has decided to now, Azir, I think is not Azure, Azir, I think is the name of his realm, has decided to strike out from Azir and come to the, try and basically retake the mortal realms. The role-playing game is focused around a part of one of the planes. Each of the planes you can kind of think of as having, they're like oceans, where they have shallows, and they have mid-range things, and they have great depths. The deeper you go out into the realms, the more they are personifications of their thing. Like, actually, the realm of fire, at the heart of that, would be burning hotter than a sun. It would be the clear personification of that. But at the shallows, you might find places like this, the Great Parch, which is, this is only part of it, but this is where mortals fit in. There is an element kind of almost like what Planescape used to be like, where in the midst of these extraplanar kind of afterlife places, there were also people, and there are people making their lives the same they would in any other kind of setting. The game itself concerns itself over, and let me see if I've got the right things here. I do not. The game concerns itself with this struggle to sort of save the world, if you will. Oh, wrong thing. Where you are agents of the gods of order, and you are trying to bring some kind of stability, or basically to try and build a better world. And that's one of the ways where this game differs significantly from the other games. It doesn't have the kind of nihilistic, sense of humor that 40K or that fantasy have. There is a sense of hope in the game, both in the setting, in the sense that you are actually beating back the evil, but also the mechanics, because there is a overarching, it's not a meta currency, but it is like a way of numerically tracking how bad shit is in the world surrounding your characters. It's called Doom. And where Doom comes in is Doom will go up from different actions that you would take and different things that happen in the campaign. And mechanically, Doom plays in for the boss mechanics for some of the more powerful adversaries you will face. They get their stats from Doom, so the more the world is teetering on the edge, the more powerful these things are. But what your characters can do with downtime is you can take actions to specifically reduce the Doom level. And that is an element of hope about the setting that is kind of absent in both 40K and in the old world. Doesn't mean that one is better than the other, it just makes for a very different experience. Your characters, the name of the role-playing game, comes from the idea that you guys have been bound together by souls. Your characters have been connected through a ritual that links you to, kind of, in a small way, the fate of the world. Not every character can do that. So, for instance, the Stormcast Eternals, their souls are already spoken for. So while they do adventure as part of the companions, they can't be soulbound, and that means that they don't contribute. One of the narrative metacurrencies we play with is called, what is it here? Is it Fate? No. It is Soulfire. Soulfire is your super important narrative metacurrency. This is what only members of the Soulbound party can draw on. And you get 1 point at the start of each session, 1 point of Soulfire for every member of the group, with accepting any Stormcast Eternals. It's neat in the game, you can, if you don't want to play the, goody-goodies of Order, there are also books out at the time of recording for playing Agents of Destruction. Because Chaos and Order are not the only two powers in this world. Destruction is personified by what were the Greenskins before, so orcs and goblins and, giants and whatnot. So there's a source book for playing for that type of campaign, and Death is separate from this as well. One of the big bads of the old world, a lich, whose name escapes me right now. His name was... It's a super lich sounding name. What's his name? Nagash. Nagash, the lich from their airsats from, I think it's called Kemri. It's their airsats Egypt. He has survived as a god of death. So one of the more recent events in the mortal realms was this, I think it was called the Soul Quake, where basically a shit ton of undead rose up in different places. So for the setting, it's got a very high fantasy feel to it, because this is not the mortal world that you are playing. They call them the mortal realms, but every one of these places is influenced by either the realm that it occupies, like the sweeping deserts in the Great Parch, or they are influenced by whatever they are connected to. So, for instance, Anvilgard, I can't remember what the name of the place is, but it's the mortal realm of life is there. So there's this huge sprawling jungle that continually grows in on it, and they have to use these incredibly powerful defoliants to keep it at bay. And other places are similar to that, like Hammer Hall over here. This is close to Azure, so it has the influence of the celestial light of heaven, and each of these places has a similar vibe to it. So it means that they have a deeply magical feel to a lot of the different settings. You can get these wonderfully high fantasy type stuff. And I guess the last thing I'd say is you're also playing, as far as the role-playing game is concerned, you're playing extremely competent characters. Like this, it adopts the type of adversary mathematics that 4th edition has, or that like Feng Shui has, where there's a clear distinction between heroes and like minions. Heroes can carve through minions. And there are scaling different levels of difficulty for different adversaries. There's boss type characters that whole parties can face. And that's it sets a tone for the campaign, because you guys truly are a cut above. Setting aside the soulbound nature of it, you're also just so much more powerful than what the average character is. So that is the setting. If you have any questions before we start talking about the game mechanics, I'm happy to try and answer them.
I'm happy to explore as we go, but...
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good overview.
Okay, so that is our setting. Let's talk about the actual gameplay. So, actual gameplay in this game is using pools of d6s. The way that all the difficulties are listed is there's two ways you sort of need, two things you need to kind of understand for how the game or the dice mechanics work. One of them is how you set target numbers and numbers of successes. Each difficulty will have like one number colon another number. First number is the number you need to roll on whatever number d6s you're rolling. The second number is how many of them you need to succeed. So for instance, if something is a 6-1, it means you need to get 1 6 on one of your dice, and that's it. If it is a 4-3, you need to get 4 on 3 of your dice. There's a fun mechanic called focus that some skills have, and what that does is after you roll your dice, you have a number of points equal to your focus that you can add to the dice to try and top up successes if you like. So if you've got, say, a focus 2 in something, you could add +1 to 2 of your dice that didn't meet the target number, or you could add +2 to 1 of them to make it meet the target number, or whatever. You also have, so that's that's sort of the task resolution mechanic. The other thing that comes into play, and this is, I believe, only in combat, is the scaling of things. So what you will see at the, I think it's in the center near the bottom, it will talk about your melee, your ranged, and your defenses. And there's sort of a scale. They'll give you a word to describe how capable you are.
Oh yeah, poor, average, good, great. Yeah.
Exactly. The way that you determine how difficult it is to affect something is dictated by the comparison of the two. So if you're equal, then the difficulty is always going to be a 4. If you are 1 higher than the target, your difficulty goes down by 1. If you are 2 steps higher, it goes down by 2. So your difficulty becomes a 2. What that means and play is it feels like there's a big gap. Like when there is a capability gap, it gets even bigger because you are much more likely. In the converse, if there are 1 or 2 steps in, it bumps that up as well. So a street mugger who has picked up a knife for the first time in desperation to try and get money from you is going to have a probably poor. Is that the lowest one? Yeah, poor rating in it. And let's say, Jean, what is your defense?
Average.
Average. So you are still 1 above that. So the street mugger's target number would be a 5 to attack you. Right. In converse, for you to attack them, it would be a 3. They also probably have smaller dice pools, so it sort of all cascades in to mean that you get that feeling of being more capable without having to do a lot of, extra math or whatnot. Those are the two kind of key things. Let's see here. For contested rolls, I just want to double check that. You also will have a skill called a stat called toughness on your character sheet. It's on your token as your red bar. Toughness is your hit points. Losing toughness doesn't cause any kind of significant long-term effect. If you lose all your toughness, you start taking wounds. Wounds are more serious, but your characters are quite durable in this game. Depending on the types of wounds, let's see here. If If your toughness is 0 and you suffer 1 damage from a single source, you take a minor wound, filling 1 space. If your toughness is 0 and you take 2 to 4 points of damage, it's a serious wound, filling 2 on your wound track. A deadly wound, if you take 5 or more damage, you fill in 3 spaces on your wound tracks. When there are no more spaces left to fill, you are mortally wounded. And let's see here. You gain the stun condition, you may not recover toughness, and you start taking death tests, depending on the last wound that you suffered. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I should say if, but, you know. It won't be the first game where I accidentally kill a bunch of characters in the first time we play it. Healing, if you spend 10 minutes to rest and recover, you get your toughness back. If you have armor, which I think both of you guys might have spells that can grant that stuff, you can do that. The final thing we need to talk about, just because it is something that comes into play, is your metal. Metal is a resource that refills 1 point at the start of each round. It's what you spend to do cool shit throughout the game. You can spend it. I've got a handout here for the metal cheat sheet. There we go. So you can take an extra action with it. You can use a talent or miracle, which will be both of you guys have spells. Double your training before you roll, so you get to roll twice as many dice, or double your focus after you roll, allowing you to tweak those numbers if you need to. You get 1 point back at the start of each turn, and you can spend them on whatever you want. So, Jean, you can see you got 2. That's your blue bar on your token.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
Yeah, that's the game. Like, the skill sheet, the skill list, as you can see, is fairly streamlined. But that's kind of it. I think that, yeah, and I think you click on the actual skill names themselves to roll. And you've got some, your talents, right. Do we want to, did I fill these in? I did, look at that. Holy smokes, Madison, you were on the ball. So you have talents, which are like special abilities that your characters can do. So it's worth just, let me quickly get, these are all Jean's. So let's see here. So Blessed Sigmar is just a background one. Intimidating manner. If you have advantage. Advantage means you get, I think it's 1 extra. Your difficulty goes down by 1. So you have advantage because of your intimidating manner. You have a loyal companion who I'm going to forget about because I forgot to load it last time someone played this character, so I do apologize for that. But you have a lovely Griffhound who is safe at home. And Sigmar's Judgment. Your melee and accuracy step are increased by 1 step when you're the target of... and the target of your attack is a demon or a servant of chaos.
So would that make my melee from average to good? Is that how it works?
Correct. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. And then for Imran, if you're in your character sheet, David, why don't you just click on each of the little speech bubbles? It'll populate that in chat. Go. All right. So you have, let's see here, spellcasting, obviously. Shape spell, when your spell targets a zone. You guys have both played 2D20 games before, or the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games. You know how zoning kind of works in this game. So when your spell targets a zone, you can choose a number of targets equal to your focus and channeling to be unaffected by the spell. That's helpful because I think you have a couple of really badass AoE spells. Scholar, you gain double the dice from training in lore. Oh, that's cool. Unbind, you... when a creature you see within medium range casts a spell, you can spend a metal to attempt to unbind it. So it's counterspell, basically. And then Witch Sight, you are gifted with the ability to see magical energy. I don't think you have to spend anything to do that. Yeah, there's no metal spending or anything like that to do that. Okay,
Nice.
so that's what you guys have. I don't think there's anything else. You don't have any gear just yet that is noteworthy. Oh, there are traits for your weapons, but like, well, when you make use of them, we'll figure that out. And the cost of spells, I believe, is metal.
Yeah, it was saying a character recovers one. Yeah, you can spend metal on talents, including casting a spell and miracles outside of combat. In combat, you spend it as per there.
Yeah, I'm just double.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you cast a spell in combat, whether that's also metal.
Well, it is for sure metal in combat, because metal,
Right.
like generally speaking, you can't use it for things like the rerolls and the double stuff, because it regenerates each round.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would just have, what do you call it? You would just might as well double stuff outside of combat.
Yep.
Where the heck is... I know they separate the spells and the... Here we go, and the prayers. Where is it here? Casting a spell. Okay, so casting a spell does not cost metal. Is it the prayers that do? Wonder. Because I know there was something different between spells. Like it's neat that they've got a different different mechanic for magic and for things. So
I mean, in the description of miracle, for example, I make a roll. It's a 5/1 devotion, but I can choose to spend a metal to add my soul to the amount of toughness recovered, so it's almost like metal is used to boost the effect.
Yeah, let me double check. Here we go. So there's spells.
Choose to spend a metal to damage, ignore. Okay.
227. Again, for those listening at home, apologies for having to look this stuff up. We had very little time to get ready for this one, but let's see. I'm in the prayer section. Where in the... Oh, you know what? I think they're at the beginning, near character creation. Yes, they are. I went through this last time. All right, miracles. Some powerful miracles require both an action and metal. So, if the prayers have a listing of cost, then it costs you metal. And then you can also spend metal to augment some of them as well. But magic does not require. Casting a spell does not appear to require any metal. All you need to do is use your action to make a mind channeling test. And then you can spend metal to affect, the results.
I think my miracles don't require metal.
One of yours does. I see there's one that's got a cost on it. Yeah. It was the Light of Sigmar. See, under miracles, the spells, like that whole section has the spells headers on top. But if you look under miracles, it says manifest, then cost, then target, then range, then duration. You'll see Light of Sigmar has a cost of 1.
Yep. Got you.
Oh, and actually, in the description I put it down too. 1 metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not on the PDF. It's on there. Cool.
Okay. I think I've cut and pasted the full description of each of your spells too. So like there's Light of Sigmar effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Then. It's a lot of moving parts, but I think that from last time, I think in play, it hopefully will be a relatively smooth running thing. So, any questions before we dive in here, guys?
All good.
All good? Okay. Let me just get this in here. All right. So, our scene opens. Nope. With me hitting the wrong button. Your doppelgangers are here. Let me get this set up in here. There we go. Shan and Imran. With fire and pain.
Nice.
We are going to get things rolling. Would you each kindly give us a difficulty 6 body reflexes check? Let's see how banged up you're opening your eyes to be here.
6.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's a tough one, but...
Let's do it. Reflex bonus, I think that's 0.
Oh, what is going... Hold up. Something's going on with your tokens here. I don't see your bars. Your bars are gone.
So when it asks for a reflexes bonus, is that just 0?
0, yes.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Nice, both of you guys. So, let me see if I can... There
so
we
was
go.
that a 6-1?
That was a 6-1, yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
you guys both are able to... Where you are is in the twisted ruins of a Caradron frigate. So picture an ironclad ship lashed to a massive metal, like magical metal based kind of air, airbag that has come crashing down in a forest that is almost entirely ablaze. And the two of you find yourself on the smoldering floor. It's not on fire where you are, but everything around you is aflame. What you're encountering, guys, is what several people encounter in the course of these pickup sessions: block text. The thick trees crack and split under the heat. Their embered needles rain down around you like hellfire. The vessel, whose name you can see on the scarred and twisted hull, is Grungnir's faced, and it lies broken in two, her cargo and crew spilled out across the smoldering forest floor like ruptured guts. Through the roar of the forest fire around you, you can hear a scream. Now, as you guys are trying to remember, like, where are we? How the fuck did we get here? Why don't you each give us a mind lore check? So each of your skills, you can tweak it to be one of your the 3 different skills. I think they're all set to the defaults right now, but in the event they're not, it'll be a lore skill with using mind. Please go ahead and I can't remember. Do you enter the difficulty number in?
Yes,
You do
that's for
4.
target
So,
DN.
yeah, DN is 4. Yeah. Okay. So, Jean, you have only foggy recollections of this, but let me show you the vision that comes to your mind. For you, Imran, clear. That is a Caradron ship being beset by the forces of chaos. And Imran, you rolled well enough to recognize which of the 5 Chaos Lords that these things offer blasphemous thanks to. These are servants of Zinch, the Lord of Change. And you recognize those screeches because they were your attackers. So you look over, and I think you two have a Soulbound connection, and we'll talk about where you were heading when all of this went down in a moment. But right now, it sounds as if the servants of Tzeentch may be looking for survivors. No, wrong thing. What do you guys do?
They will rue the day that they looked for survivors.
Indeed. Let me find the stats here. Great. Okay. I wanted to know if I need to set up a health bar for them, and I will. And let's see here. Oh, Madison, you haven't set this up yet. Jeez. I really wish there was a way to set up so that every Roll20 game you create has the same default for tokens, because it is never right for me. All right. Then, from the distance, what you can see, riding atop some kind of creation of the ruinous powers, a disc with strange undulating kind of limbs, insectoid kind of, but with a smooth covering on its skin that feels very wrong to the eye, as if it's skittering around in the air and held aloft by a blast of pure chaos power. There are 4 of these things, and they are currently, I think, at long range, and they seem to be moving over ranges in Age of Sigmar. Ooh. So you know what's on this Game Master screen, guys?
List of skills.
Full list of skills. Cubicle 7 knocks it out of the park again. All right, so range is... they are long range. They are up to 2 zones away, and to move to a point within long range, you must use your move and an additional action to run, unless you've got some other special power. And these things, they have in their hands deadly and efficient arrows. You have a vision in your mind of heavily armored Dwarden crew members being struck down by these things as the ship listed and then finally fell. Let's talk about initiative. So initiative is a score in this game. So I believe if you click on your token and click on your character, it should just populate. Or click on your token and then click on initiative. Yeah, they have initiative of 6. Okay. 2? Boy. All right, let's see tiebreakers. I'll bet you it goes to heroes in this game. But we shall see. Combat, here we go. Turn order. If player characters have the same initiative, they can decide when they act. If player characters and an enemy have the same initiative, player characters act first. So there we go. Imran. That is our initiative order. Imran, then the, I'll put it down here, the Zangor Skyfires. Zangor is a type of mutant beastman. So when they call over, imagine, if you will, something that sounds both and simultaneously like the bleating of an enormous goat and the cry of a bird of prey. That's what calls at you as they begin to turn towards you. So Imran, you're up first. You have one action. You have a move. Drawing weapons, like it's a very hero focused game. So like Savage Worlds, like you can draw weapons, you can ready shit like without taking an action. Those are free, and then you can also blow your metal to take an extra action or to do something else or get a bonus to your skills. Remember, you're getting your metal back at the start of each turn. So Imran, what are you doing?
I'm gonna get up to my feet. You said we're still inside what remains of the.
There are some
skyship.
remains around, yeah.
No.
So one point of rules: cover increases your defense by 1 rank
No.
against range.
I think Imran's first action will indeed be defensive, as she sort of sees the situation we're in, has that flashback to all of those arrows striking down the dwarven defenders, and she will draw upon her connection to the deep, and then the scales of her armor will sort of shimmer as if fresh water runs over them. And she will try and summon a mystic shield on herself.
Very nice. Okay, so if you click on the spell, it'll tell us what we need to roll, and then you can click on your channeling skill. Oh, your type of elf, incidentally, lives like near the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I assume. So do I click on the cast die next to
click
the
on the
shield,
if you
or-
click on the dice next to the spell, it won't roll it, but it'll give you the rules for the spell. Oh no! So that's what happens with the prayers spells. It'll roll for you. There you go. Okay, so you got 2 successes and you got 1 focus. So can one of these difficulties a 5? You didn't roll a 4, so unfortunately that can't bump you up. But
Yeah, no.
you could spend a medal to double your focus after your roll.
Oh, and I can make that 3 of 5. So
Correct.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay. And then let's see what overcasting with Mystic Shield. Oh, you know what? I specifically got up my starter set because it does have some really great. These characters are incidentally from the starter set, and it has really helpful handouts in it. With here we go. The full thing's on. So Overcast, it lasts for 1 round. Each additional success over the ones you need, you can add another round of duration to it. So you have currently 3 successes, so you got, you want to just add 2 rounds to it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then, so that was your action. And you spent your medal to jazz that up, so that's it for you.
Yep.
All right. So then these Zangors, let's see, what do they got? Oh, they have a vicious beak. I'm just double checking range here.
Should we adjust on the combat abilities the boxes for things like this? Or leave them as is and then just
leave them
remember
as is. Leave them as is. Yeah, we know where they are at default, and we'll just adjust up and down for that. So, oh sweet. So your defense increases by 1. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so they're not doing it. Okay, so then I have 2 groups of Zangor Skyfires who are going to attack. So Imran, you've jazzed up your defense. What is your defense currently?
It'll be average.
Oh, so it was poor before?
According to the boxes ticked here, yeah, I'm poor at melee, average at accuracy, and poor at defense.
All right, so you're average, which means the Skyfire has... Okay, good. At range. All right. So that means I need a 3 to hit you. So you got 1. Fires. Ooh. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Which means it does damage Oh, 1 plus successes. So you take 5 points of damage from that first hit, but what is your armor?
1.
A 1, okay. So you'll take 4 points of toughness damage from that first hit. And then, unless you told me that you moved behind cover with your move.
I was thinking about it, but I didn't say it, so
I felt that
you
know what, I'm picking up what you're putting down, so why don't you give yourself 1 back? I'll take away 1 of my successes. Because it'll be a little bit harder right now. Okay. Then 5 once again. That is only 2 successes against you, so that means you take another 3 points of damage. Reduced by 1 from your armor, so 2 points of damage. Okay, so they are keeping their range, flying along on these things, and in spite of the instability of these crazy platforms, they're still deadly accurate with their arrows. Shan, these other ones are going to begin moving in. Let me take a look here. I'm going to make sure I'm not doing range wrong here.
And they're at long, did you say?
Yeah, they're at long range right now, so it'll be two ranges to get away.
2 zones.
2 zones,
right.
Correct.
Okay.
These ones are going to move into medium to try and flank a little bit. What is your defense right now, Bemmer? Or Jan?
Right now, my defense is average.
Average, okay. So it's the same thing. I need a 4. Oh, you haven't taken cover yet. So I need a 3. All right, let's go. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. So what's your armor?
My armor is... sorry, just need to find that.
I could grab your pre-gen
1.
1, okay, great. So then you take 4 points of damage from 1, and then the other shoots. That's a not good roll. 2 successes, so you would take another 2 points of damage after subtracting your armor from that second one. So that's 6, I think, in total.
Okay.
All right. Then it is Jan's turn. What are you doing, Jan? So because your toughness is down, neither of you guys are actually wounded just yet. It's just you're getting close to being hit with something mortal or something more serious.
I guess I will take cover.
Okay, so you can move yourself to where some of the cover is, increases your defense by 1, and then what would you like to do? You have an action, and you have 2 metal to spend as well.
Brilliant. I haven't got any range. I've got a ranged Warhammer, hand hammer, but I'm not sure how. Oh, thrown short. No, they're out of range.
Okay.
So
you know what I'll do, guys, just so it's easier. I'll if they are underneath you, they're in the same zone. If they are in the white, they are in medium range, and if they're in black, they're in long range.
Okay.
Because that'll be just an easy shorthand for measuring distance. Okay.
Okay.
So, what do you wish to do with your round?
So are they now they're in short?
They are 1 zone away. Short range is in the same zone as you.
Okay. So they're out of range. I can't get to any of them. I guess I will.
Instead of moving for cover, you could have moved into their zone.
Oh, okay. In which case, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get in amongst them.
Yep. So you race in. They are still flying, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I mean, with a ranged attack, you could hit them now.
Well, they're in my zone, so maybe the light of Sigmar is required at this point.
Okay.
So I will cast Light of Sigmar. This will cost me 1 metal.
Okay.
Which I will spend. And I'll just roll it.
Yeah, so if you click on it, for the prayers, it should just display it. When you click on there you go. So you need to make a devotion test using your soul.
Using soul. Okie doke. devotion test. Target number is
5
for
Light of Sigmar.
For
And remember,
Light of
you
Sigmar.
can spend a metal to double your skill dice before you roll, or you can spend a metal after the roll to double your focus.
Okay, I'll make the roll.
Okay.
Devotion bonus is 0, so submit.
Go. Okay, so you got 2. Nice. So that means they will take one damage per... So they're taking 2 points of damage already, and you've got 1 extra success, which I believe you can just add to damage.
Also with the focus, I think you rolled a 4, so with the focus you could make another run into a 5.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So that'd be 3 successes. That'd be 3 points of damage. And then, what else can you spend on? Now you can spend metal to add to it, but here we go. Miracles of Sigmar. Here we go. Light of Sigmar. Oh yeah, it's the damage. That's the way that we get. So you could spend 1 metal to have it ignore armor as well, if you like.
Let's do that.
Okay, then that is 3 points of damage. What does it look like as the Light of Sigmar shines down on these 8 creatures of chaos?
Yeah, it's a focus beam that Zan holds up his warhammer, and he sort of points it directly at them, and the light just pours from the warhammer and smashes into them.
Okay, they are also creatures of chaos, so remember your melee and your range will be 1 higher against them.
My melee will be, yeah.
Doesn't it apply to your range as well?
Yep. Accuracy.
You're just not great at range, is that what you're saying?
I didn't know if that counted for the spell, but it certainly does.
Oh no, this is not. Yeah, not for casting a spell. Just if you do engage these things in
Sure.
hammer to head. Okay, so you still have one metal left over, so you could take another action if you like, or you could save that and wait for the metal to come back at the start of the next round.
As I'm out of metal.
Yes, you're right. You're out of metal. Sorry, I saw the blue on the bar. Right, you spent 1 to add the foe. No, you still got 1 left over. Oh, because 1 to cast it. Forgive me. Yeah, 1 to cast it, 1 to add the ignoring armor. All right, ignore me. I so badly want you to have more metal.
So do I.
Genuinely one of my favorite mechanics in this game. It's such a neat idea of having... it's got some of the neat flair of the PF2 thing, but what I find with PF2 is that when everything has 3 actions, it can make fights with a lot of stuff on the table be a little slower because you're constantly like, okay, now this bandit gets to make 3 attacks. Not a bad thing, but just it does make it for it. But this is a neat way of kind of having your cake and eating it too, where players get to have those extra actions and maybe some significant enemies, but not everybody. All right, speaking of everybody, top of the round, round 2. Imran, get your medal back. There you go. You have 2 more rounds of your defenses. What are you doing?
I think Imran will decide that offense is the best defense, so she will move closer towards the 2 that were firing at her.
Okay, so we'll put you out here maybe. So you're 1 zone away from them.
Puts them at medium range?
You would be at medium range now, yeah, because it would be 1 zone away.
And then she will focus on her powers again, and water will sort of swirl around one of her arms, and then sort of a jet will, in a sort of swirling.
Oh, there's one thing that we forgot last time that I want to mention. You guys have on your character sheet, this is one of the elements that's like the high fantasy element of it. So you guys have a currency called drops, files, and spheres. You see that?
Yeah.
So that is like codified droplets of life taken from one of the things. You can consume that to gain toughness back. And let me tell you how that works. Yeah, and I think... Here we go, toughness. Because I forgot to emphasize that last time we played. And... yeah, it's called Aqua Garanus. Because it's from... Gyran, I think, is the name of the place. So it's neat that it's used as a currency as well, but you can also just use it to heal yourself. And where is it here? Aquagranus. I want to say 10 drops is 1 point healed back. But
that makes sense because I have 190 drops. I was thinking that's very generous.
Yeah, it's because 10 drops makes a file, 10 files makes a sphere, and a sphere of Aquagranus can purify the land in a zone, removing any taint or chaos. A sphere can be used to accelerate growth in a zone per the Life Bloom spell, or you can consume... Oh my god. Each drop of Aquagranus restores 1 toughness, and a file restores 10 and removes 1 condition. And a sphere restores all toughness, removes all conditions, and allows you to clear 1 space on the wound track.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and that, I believe... Let me double check here. That might be a free action. So if you want to top up your toughness...
Yes, please.
Let's take a look here. Okay. Acciones. And remember, you guys have that soul fire too. You have 2 points of soul fire, which include things like achieve maximum success on the test instead of rolling dice. Every dice counts as a 6. Re-roll as many dice as you like after a test. Recover all your toughness. Regain all spent metal. So if you want to blow through a really important scene and then recover your metal a second time, like to take a bunch of extra actions, Soulfire comes back after achieving a short-term goal, long-term goal. Yeah, and that's that. Okay, so actions. Let's see here. Using an object, something that requires. Most of the time, you don't need an action to interact with or manipulate an object, like drawing your weapon, taking something in your pack, flicking a switch, or opening a door. However, sometimes things take more actions. So I think it's a free action, guys, to consume Aquagranus if you choose to. Both of your characters would have known that. So if you, Jean, if you wish to have done that on your turn, you're certainly welcome to do so.
Okay. I was wondering if I should have cast Healing Spirit, actually, anyway, just to... as an additional action. But I can do that. How do I do that?
So if you go to your character sheet, at the bottom, there under currency, there's drops, files, and spheres. Just you're down by 6. Just remove 6 droplets or drops, and then restore 6 to your toughness.
Oh, I got 60.
You got 160, I believe.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
This changes everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, sorry, Imran, so it is your turn. So you have access to that as well for free, if you'd like.
I will happily restore my toughness.
Okay. So you can picture this huge burning forest around you guys, and you know some of these droplets disappear from your file as you race forward. And what do?
I will cast Arcane Bolt at one of the attackers.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. Holy smokes. All right, so that is... Oh, no 3s. You could spend your metal to double your focus again if you choose. Or you can save that for doing another action, or...
Yeah, I was planning on doing another action.
Awesome. Okay. So then this currently is... that is 4 points of damage. Oh, additional success. So basically 3 points of damage. However many successes. I don't know why they don't just list it that way, the number of successes you rolled, I guess, to avoid the gridlock of like, yeah, but you need 1 success to succeed, so does that take it away, or, you know. All right, so that solely slams into one of them. That was 3 points of damage. And they have 1 point of armor. What does your arcane bolt look like?
I think it would be a sort of swirling water cylinder sort of shooting out from her, like a lash almost.
Yeah.
And hitting.
All right.
Then she will raise her other hand and do the same on the same attacker.
Nice.
Using my metal for second action.
Yep. Go right ahead. Holy smokes. All right, and can that one...
No, unfortunately, it's no.
All right, so that is 4 points of damage on the same one. Look at that, and we go. This thing screech bleats once again, and then is that the end of your turn?
Yes, it is.
All right, so then let's see what other. Now that's incredible. This thing, the one you hit, it leans down, bow in one hand, and kind of grasps the disc it's on, and it whispers something in a tongue not suitable for mortals to hear. And this disc lurches forward like a striking snake, goes down towards you, and what you see is the mouth on the bottom of it. He has asked it to attack you, so it swoops down towards you. What is your defense currently?
It is average.
Average, okay. So it is an average attack on this one, so I need a 4 to hit. And that is only one success, which means you take 3 points of piercing damage as these teeth go in. Your armor will apply. The other, so he's engaged with you now. The other is going to continue at a medium range and going to try and take a pot shot at you once again, Imran. This will be a 3 he needs. Anything else? Oh, he leans in and whispers to his the arrow, and you cannot see it, but the arrow seems to kind of like twist as if it was a living thing, and then he unleashes it. That's 3 successes, and thankfully, because I activated his Arrow of Fate ability, that would have mean 6s or 2 successes. I rolled no 6s. This thing comes down at you. You take, that is 4 points of damage, but subtract your armor. Shan. What is your defense?
It's I think still average.
Still average. Okay, so then this one of these, you know what? Both these are going to come down. They did not like that shit that you did. Actually, you know what they're going to do? One is going to move in one direction, and one will move in the other. So they're both at 1 zone away right now. So at medium range.
Oh, that medium range. Okay.
Yeah, and then one is going to. They're both going to fire at you arrows.
Okay. I will shout, "The light of Sigmar sees all!"
That is 4 successes. So you take 5 points of damage from the first. And that Arrow of Fate. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 points of damage. 5 points of damage from the second. And so it'll be you got 1 armor, that's what, 3 and 4, so you take 7 in total. But as that second one hits you, it burns in the residual light of Sigmar. It awakened some chaos creature in that arrow. Yeah. Then, so you'll take, I think, 7 total toughness, and then it is your turn, Jan. You'll gain 1 metal back.
Okay, I will do that. Yep, got that.
And then what will you do? Your turn.
Well, I will have to close range on one of them.
Okay. Any choices? Or you just The closer one?
Something
Okay.
like
There we go. So you're in the same zone as him.
Okay. Yeah.
He's swirling around above the burning trees.
Yeah. It's Warhammer time.
Okay.
So I'll make an attack with my Warhammer.
Ranged or?
Oh, sorry. So am I at short range now?
You are short range now. Yeah.
Okay. So I still need to use ranged weapons against it.
Yeah, I think so. Unless you are.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
I will try a.
So here's something you could do. Oh, you could. I mean, you can ready an action as well too. So when it comes in, you could brain the thing. But there's a neat action too called Seize Initiative, where you give up your turn this round, but you act at the start of the next round.
Okay.
That would not really, in your case, for the way the initiative cycling doesn't really do anything.
No.
But let me see. I'm just going to double check what flying does. Like if he can stay up in the air, he certainly would do that. But
I could try another Light of Sigmar, I guess, and
yeah,
sort of
most definitely. Yeah.
Try and burn this one. Maybe I'll try that.
Okay, go right ahead.
So it'll cost me a metal.
Okay.
Drops down. Go.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. It's devotion.
Devotion, yeah. Devotion and soul against 5.
Soul, bang, and the target number is 5.
Target number is 5, yes.
Go. And devotion bonus, no.
Nice.
Okay.
And how close are you here? None of them are within 5, but 2 successes, so that would be. You got no extra metal, so his armor will apply, but that is 2 more damage. All right. Screeches in pain as the light of Sigmar burns into it. Any other actions?
I mean, can I also try to cast where is it? Healing Spirit?
Oh, let's see if it. I don't know if it takes an action. Let's see here.
It might do.
Let's see. Using a talent. Let's see what it says for prayer.
It doesn't say on the PDF.
Yeah, let me see here. Miracles. Here we go. Unless otherwise stated, using a miracle requires the use a talent action.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you have. What about Soulfire? Can you do anything? Cheap maximum. Regain all spent metal. You could spend. You guys have 2 Soulfire. You could spend a point of Soulfire, get 2 points of metal back, and then each of those points of metal could be spent to take an extra action.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm down to 0 metal. I was trying to preserve our Soulfire, but maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should spend it.
Get it at the start of each session.
Okay. I'm going to hold 5 for now, I think, and I may have to spend some more of that lovely
Aqua Garanus.
Drops. Yeah.
Okay. And then it is Imran's turn. Imran, what are you doing? So you have 1 more round left in your magic shield.
Yeah, I think Imran will spend some Aqua Garanis.
Okay.
And then would both of the ones next to us count as being the same zone? So the one next to Jan and the one next to me, is that
no, because
zone?
You moved one zone out, right? So they would, I could just do this here. It's red, so that makes sense. There's sort of division between the zones. Whoop. That last one got a little away from me. Can you guys see those red lines I put down?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I sort of demarcate the different zones you guys are in.
Yeah.
Amron, what are you thinking?
In which case, I think I will first try and get rid of the one in my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some more arcane bolting.
Anna wishes you luck.
Thank you. Come on.
Nice. Holy smokes. Can your focus squeeze another? No, those ones are not going to.
No, yeah.
Okay, so that is 5 points of damage. So what does it look like as your spell takes this last one, or this first one, down?
Then just sort of swirling, and then it hits him and just sort of pierces through where Imran assumes the heart is, and just sort of out the other side.
Nice. Wow. He is my initiative tracker, so I'm just going to put him over here. Well, come on, Madison. What the fuck? Keeps trying to resize it. There we go. Okay, so he's out of the way. So that is down. You still have a move, and you have metal you could spend.
I would spend a metal for second action.
Okay.
And is it possible to target the thing they're riding on rather than that?
Ooh, the disc. I think so. Yeah. Heck yeah.
I would like to send a second arcane bolt against the horrible insectoid flying disc this other attacker is on.
Go right ahead. Let's you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna have it increase the difficulty by 1 because it's sort of a called shot thing. So it'll be a difficulty 4. 5. Can't do math.
It's not asking me for difficulty modifier.
That's fine. We'll take a look and see what you rolled.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, and that is... So this is where... Ooh, so you got 2 successes. You could spend... Oh, you have no metal left.
No, but I have the focus...
Yes, your focus could bump one of those up, so you have 3 successes.
Yeah. Yes, I'll do that.
So that's... I'm going to apply the damage to him as well. You are currently... That would have been 1 point off from downing the disc. So let's just double check and see if there is any soul fire to... let's see here. Oh yeah, this is a neat mechanic. Although I'm curious to see when there would ever come into play, but you need permission from the group to spend soul fire. If you spend it without the group's permission, then doom increases by 1. Like for most players, you're going to be like, okay, of course, like draw on it, whatnot. I think what that has to be is you have to consciously think of like, would my character be okay with this when with this spend of it?
So I could spend Soulfire to re-roll the ones that failed in the hopes of getting more successes.
Yep, you could re-roll 3 dice.
Jean, would you agree to that?
Yep. Go ahead and roll 3d6. Nice. 1, 2. There's your extra successes. So it what does it look like as you blow through this disc?
I think where on the other one the mouth opened, that's well aimed for, in the hopes that is something important to them, and then just shear that part off.
Yeah, a disgusting ichor and still some of that chaotic plasma comes out of it, but it quickly plummets to the ground, and he crashes. He's purple because he's a pedestrian now. So,
and then I will move into the same zone that Jean is in.
You got it. So you're back to where that crash was. So you could position yourself behind cover if you like.
In that case, I'm happily go behind cover, seeing as my Mystic Shield is ending.
Okay, so you're racing over there. Then it is the Skyfire's turn. They are not pleased with this. First, let's take a pot shot at Jean once again.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. That is a single hit. So you take 2 points of damage, Jean. Minus armor be 1 damage. The one that you're facing, he's pissed off and whispers to his disc, and that thing races towards you. And your defense is an average. This is average. I need 4s to hit you.
Okay.
I got 1, 2 successes. That is 4 points of damage as this disgusting, chaotic maw jumps or chews onto you. This other thing needs to straggle to its feet, and I think it doesn't need any more incentive to get the fuck out of here, so it's going to start running away. It's at an extreme range now and trying to run off into the burning forest. Crying for help. Then that's it for the Zangor. Zan, what are you doing? You get 1 medal back?
1 medal back. I will note that. Got it. Okay. So I'm a little bit uncertain, but they've come right up to me. Are they in melee range yet, or are they still at short?
That one is still hovering on that disgusting thing.
I could throw a hand hammer at it, I guess.
Okay.
I'll try that. I basically don't have any range. I don't have a lot of range, so he's. But let's go with that. We'll try that. So that would be target number.
So his defense is average. What is your accuracy?
My accuracy is actually not so good, but it's boosted, so it's average.
Okay, so it'll be a difficulty of 4.
4. Okie doke. Let's do it.
Nice. It's 1 success. Now it has crush, subtle, and thrown. Crushing, just solid and blunt, subtle. They're easily concealed, and thrown is thrown. Not a lot of secrets to that trait. All right, then that solidly hits. How much damage does it do?
It's not noted on the sheet.
Oh.
Is it? No, damage is just 0 here.
Okay, so then it's just the number of successes. So that's 1 point of damage. Unfortunately, this thing's made of fairly stern stuff. You hit it, but nothing happens. Do you wish to spend any more Aqua Garanas? And you have your medal as well.
Yeah. Can I spend the metal to move and to jump onto the disc?
You could. Hold on. There is. Let's see here. There is like a ready action. Let's just double check and see how that works.
Try that.
Improvise parlay. Oh, good sir. Let's see here. React. When you react, you prepare yourself to act when a specific event happens. Oh, you know what? I'm a fucking liar. Let's go back here because he is engaged. Remember, his disc is the one that came down was biting you.
That's right.
He has not moved away. So yeah, let's go back. You can actually make your melee attack, and you can increase your your effectiveness.
Yeah, so I'm now good.
Good. Okay, so then that is a difficulty of 3.
Nice.
And I can spend. No, I'll save that.
You can spend metal to like double your skill if you're particularly skilled with it.
I'm going to try for 2. Let's see. As in, try for 2 attacks.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good call. All right, so there's 1. Hold on, you got 1 focus. It's difficulty 3. That's 2 successes.
It is.
Okay. So that's 2 plus 1. That's 3 points of damage. So you smash it on that jaw, and part of its beak fractures away, and this disgusting, vibrant, bluish purple blood sprays out from it. And you're going to spend metal to take another action?
I am. I'm going to try that again.
Go right ahead. Same thing, difficulty 3. Solid hit. And that can make it 2 successes as well.
Yep.
What's it look like as you take this one down?
It's just a whir of hammer, which basically buckles its side, and then as it sort of reels away, thinking of escaping, the hammer goes right down vertically into its head.
This thing collapses down. It's a skittering platform, kind of moving about 3 feet away, and then shuddering and laying still. If you wish to spend any Aqua Garanas, go right ahead. And then it is Imran's turn. What are you doing, Imran?
Imran gives Jan just a nod and will then move closer towards
1 metal back too.
Oh yeah, we'll move closer towards the remaining one.
Okay.
So turn across.
She go racing through the burning forest.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this as a water mage from the deep shadows. And I think that I will just try again to take out the platform it's hovering on with some arcane blasts.
Nice. Okay, so it'll be difficulty of
Arcane bolt.
5. Nice. Okay, let's see. Oh, you got your focus. I can make that 2 successes.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll make it 2 successes.
Okay. So that's 3 points of damage. So that does injure it, but not quite enough to take that platform down. But I think it sees what you're trying to do now.
Yeah. And I will spend metal to do it again.
Nice.
Nice.
Come on.
Holy smokes.
Oh.
So
That's
use my
1, 2,
focus.
so 3 successes. Yeah.
Yep.
Same thing. And this one, unfortunately, has been injured before. So as the platform gives way, it falls and it is impaled on one charred chunk of wood, leaving just you guys standing alone in the ruins of this. There is no sound apart from that one that is fleeing on foot off into the burning forest. So with them defeated, you will regain all of your metal, and rather than blowing more aqua garanas, you could either invoke a prayer to try and recover more toughness, or just take 10 minutes to catch your breath, and you'll regain your toughness.
Could try the healing spirit, couldn't I?
I think Imran would point out that the one that's running away was calling for help. And that from my memories, when we were attacked, there were quite a few more of them than just these 4. So lingering for 10 minutes might not be the best option. So if you can call upon your god to restore, then that might be the better way.
Okay. Oh, and you can add a second metal to... There we go. That is 1 success. Can your focus squeeze a second one out of that?
Yeah.
No, okay. So let me see what... I actually don't know how prayers work outside of combat.
No.
I do kind of like the idea of come on, God, can I have just a little bit more? How about now? Come on. Okay.
1 toughness per success. You can choose to spend a metal to add your soul to the amount of toughness recovered. So if I do that, I can add my soul. Is that right?
So hold on. You cannot. Characters will gain 1 point of metal every turn, which means most characters will be back to their maximum metal in a few seconds. For this reason, tracking metal outside of combat is usually unnecessary. This also means that abilities and talents that require metal to heal toughness can be used freely outside of combat. This is fine. The characters you play in Soulbound are hardier than regular folk, and the ability to heal and shrug off injury and continue to fight is part of what makes them stand apart. If you would like to limit the use of metal, page 298 contains options for alternate ways of using metal in your game. I think, fuck it, let's do it. The game designers say fill your boots, then you can spend that and add your soul. What is your soul score?
4.
Whoa. So what does the healing spirit look like as you invoke it?
I think the theme is still light, so it is a angelic being which wraps its arms around each of us, and the warming, suffusing light of healing from Sigmar just basically takes all those sort of cuts and bruises and pieces out just away instantly in this, and you just come out feeling sort of just a slight warm glow in a very sort of nice way.
Nice. Okay, so then you can restore your full toughness, and then we're already at our mid-session break, so we're actually well past it. So why don't we take our mid-session break now, and then we'll come back and see what you can find in the wreckage of the Caradron airship. So for those listening at home, we'll be back momentarily. All right. Let me check something here. So I have a feeling I'm probably wrong about that, what it takes to use Akogaranis, but I'm gonna...
It feels very generous.
Yeah, it's probably, like, I definitely think you can make use of it that way, just whether it takes an action or not.
Right.
Because you definitely can make use of it. But I wonder whether... So I'm looking the actions here. I mean, I had, like, folks, on our last time we ran this, they commented that, like, no, you can really throw a ton of stuff at players, because the characters are quite tough, and that would make sense if you were able to continually top up your, you know, your toughness. But let's see here. It's a question of whether it requires the use an object action. So let me take a look in the currency. Here we go. Yeah, it says you consume to heal your body. Each drop heals one, but there's not a comment as to whether it takes an action or not. I wonder if there is any guidance here. It's an object, 145. So let's see about free actions, and maybe it gives some guidance. Oh, hold on here. Yeah, interactive objects are... Drinking an elixir is a free action. So you're intended. Okay. What that means is I can play a lot rougher with the characters then, because if you're able to on your action blow that stuff, I mean, you're also blowing your resources, right? So like there is in a long-term campaign, you wouldn't want to be blowing through all your money. But that's really interesting. Okay, so then we'll pick back up afterwards. So you have a moment to catch your breath, and you do recall what happened to have this thing crash, but why don't you guys give us a mind lore check. See if you recognize anything. Difficulty is 4, sorry. Nice. Imran. All right. So both of you will recognize what this place is, because this is not just simply a forest fire. This is a place that is perpetuating, and it does not seem to be consuming what is burning there. Or at least it doesn't end the burning. This is the kindling forest. It is a vast, ever-burning forest filled with enormous, rapidly growing pyrewood trees that covers thousands of miles in the hilly landscape of southern Vitrolia. Let me bring you over to the map. I mean, I know you guys all know. I thought you said, Graham, that you vacationed there last year, but let's just, for the benefit of folks at home.
Yeah, well, Cyprus felt like it, I can tell you.
I'll bet, yeah. Okay, so this is South Vitrolia. The Kindling Forest is this sprawling area here. And you're seeming to remember what had happened here, guys. And that was, you were passengers aboard that Caradron vessel. And you were setting out from Hammerhall. You know, I wish it didn't. When I do this, does it show the list of distance as well? Like at 10 feet?
Yeah.
I wish it didn't do that, because it didn't used to. You could just use it to point at shit, and now I've got this giant box that covers up shit. Fade delay. Instant, like, oh, that's neat, but look at this. So it lingers. Huh. That's neat. Okay, anyway, you were setting out from Hammerhall, and you were bound for Brightspear. I do not have an illustration of Hammerhall, but I do have a pretty fucking cool one of Brightspear. Look at that.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, that's where you were bound. An illustration from the starter set, incidentally. The starter set has a full city guide for Brightspear in the same way that the Warhammer Fantasy one has of Ubersreich. So that is where you were headed. It seems that somewhere in here is where you would be at present. Imran, because you rolled 2 extras, let me tell you a little extra about that. You also know that aspirant Aspirian bright mages. Bright mages are like fire wizards, pyromancers. Summoned spirits of living flame here long ago and never bothered to dispel them. The crackling spirits regularly set the woods ablaze. And the forests here almost entirely consist of pyrewood trees, which are incredibly fast-growing and mature quicker in the ashes of their predecessors. Entire groves of gigantic trees can spring up from what was cinders only weeks before. Does anyone have any training or focus in the survival skill?
No, there's no need. Sigmar will protect us.
Neither? No?
No.
So you have no idea how long it'll take to get through here, whether, like, how do you survive? Let's go back to the illustration again. What do you eat in a burning forest? You know? I mean, on the upside, you don't need to create any, campfire. So there's that.
Toffee. Don't know. No. I don't know. Are there any supplies in the wreckage of the ship?
That is a good question. I'm just reading right here. Ooh. So one of the mechanics they have in the game are the concept of hazards. And this is on my screen here. Environmental traits. It's not on here. There's a lot else on here, though, so I didn't mind. Nifty. Okay. Let's see. Hazards in the core rulebook here. Because it says that this is a minor hazard. The third unit. Which means...
Forest. Right.
The burning forest, yeah.
Yeah.
Hazards are dangerous effects in the environment. A burning building, poisonous spores, or strange crystalline grass of Heish are all hazards. There are 3 types of hazards: minor hazards, major hazards, and deadly hazards. A minor hazard causes small wounds or discomfort. When a creature enters the hazard for the first time or starts its turn there, it takes 1 damage. Major are 3, deadly are 5. So, that's not good.
No.
Spells,
be negated by armor?
Well, let's see here. Spells, miracles, and a sphere of Aquagaranus can douse the flames in a zone and remove the minor hazard for 1d6 hours before the zone catches fire once again. In addition, a sphere is 100 drops. In addition, all above ground zones are lightly obscured due to smoke, ash, and cinders in the area. So that's where you are right now, which would also make it difficult to see where that, I guess for one, it would make it difficult to see where that Zangor had run off to, but it also will make it difficult for them to see you. Grungni's face has been broken into, with the bow and stern lying on their own in separate zones, separated by a third zone of flaming debris and fallen trees. But there are... Well, you guys are catching your breath and taking in just the true direness of your situation. A panicked sound of a woman's voice comes from the debris field. Her cries for help are punctuated by the sound of smaller secondary explosions that shake the trees overhead. What would you guys like to do?
Well...
help the fellow survivor?
Yeah.
Can we tell which part of the ship they're coming from?
They are coming from the debris field.
Oh, okay.
So you could, the one that in the between where the bow and the stern had collapsed.
In that case, head in the direction and call out. Over here. We're fellow survivors.
Okay, and what you can hear is a voice coming from that same woman's voice coming over. It says, "Hurry! They are burning! We must salvage them!"
I'll rush over.
So as you run over into that zone, what you can see is there is a frail-looking human woman with the... looks like a scholar's robes, perhaps, or an alchemist, maybe. And she seems to be trying to pick up some satchels that are around here. Does anyone have... let me see here. Oh, I can go to my screen because it has all the skills on it. Anyone have medicine? Any training in medicine?
Yes.
You can recognize there are about 20 apothecaries' satchels scattered around amongst the other kind of things that are in here. Those things, and as you sort of identify them to Jean, what you see is one of them just explodes in a ball of little fire, and it must be within each of these apothecary satchels there is alcohol. So it must be one of those cooking off, but there's got to be 20 of these things that are scattered around this area, and she seems to be trying to recover them.
Do I think it's worth the effort?
Yeah, each of these, they contain... so the apothecary satchel is a leather case containing medical supplies such as bandages, scissors, salves, rubbing alcohol, and splints. An apothecary satchel can be used with a medic talent to speed recovery. It has 3 uses, after which it must be replenished.
These were supplies to our destination.
It looks like it was something they were trying to... the way they've spilled out, it's likely from one of the containers. So they're probably supplies that were bound for Brightspear.
Yeah.
And if this woman is indeed an apothecary, if there are any other survivors in here, these things would be invaluable for trying to treat them.
Try and fan out. I'll take the left, you take the right. Try and collect as many as possible, as quickly as possible.
Okay. So she is grabbing... so if you dive in, start grabbing the Majan, what about you, Imran?
You mentioned that magic or spells could dampen the fire.
Yes.
Is that a reference to specific spells, or because I have one called Riptide and one called Cloying Sea Mists, which to me sound like summoning water and maybe being able to douse fire? Could I try and...
I would absolutely allow it. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
At least keep the flames at bay somehow.
Yeah. That's awesome. Of course.
So, Cloying Sea Mists is a target of a zone.
That's great. That would cover this entire area where the debris is.
And it's a difficulty 5 and requires 3 successes.
3 successes, okay. Here we go.
Could I spend metal to double my training?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Then when it prompts you for modifier to channeling, just put in whatever your score in channeling is.
Right.
Okay.
Right, I see.
Hold on, do you have any focus? That's a lot of ones. You have 1 point of soul fire left.
If Jean is happy with that.
Yeah, go on. Profligate as you are. Go on.
Come on. Oh wow, no, this place is too strong with fire.
Yeah, well, you got your 1, and then, hold on, does your focus, you can bump that to 2, actually.
2 successes, yeah.
Yeah. And, you doubled, you spent your metal beforehand.
3, so.
Right. So what does it look like as you bring this water magic out to douse this area?
I think sort of from the scale armor she's wearing, it'll sort of start here we have the haar coming in off the sea, so just like sort of this almost zombie fog that slowly just sort of drips off her and then spreads out across the area and sort of maybe doesn't put the fires out fully, but sort of douses them somewhat and then diminishes the heat.
So she seems genuinely shocked by this display of magical power. And with you having suppressed this area, how long does it stay for? 1d6 hours. So yeah, you have more than enough time to collect all of them.
Out of Soulfire.
And as you collect them and begin kind of piling them up, and just knowing, like, Jan, how these things have been cooking off, like, for sure one of these would have blown up in someone's face in the course of collecting it. But thanks to Imran's magic and the soul fire, the power that binds the two of you together, you suppress this for some time. The old woman looks around and she says, "It's a miracle."
Sigmar is with us. So.
Imran raises an eyebrow but doesn't say anything.
So she introduces herself as what am I doing here? Her name is Elma Foss. Apologies for turning the head. Again, we're for those listening, we're picking up and running the game with very little preparation, so I'm doing a little bit of reading off of a PDF. This is the Crash and Burn adventure, or a slightly modified version of it. So she is in fact an apothecary who was on her way towards there, and as you guys are collecting it takes you probably about maybe 15 minutes to finally pile up all of these things. In fact, maybe even 10, because you're not going to have to wind your way through fire right now. However, Imran, to speak to the underlying magic of this place, there's steam coming up from all these things, almost like it's getting ready to burst into flame once again at the earliest opportunity. And as you collect this stuff up, she asks, "Who are you? Where were you? What happened?" And
we must have been attacked on our route across this fiery forest. We do not know what attacked us.
Those servants of chaos. I'll point towards where the smoldering embers of one of their remains are lying. But why they attacked, or I mean, it's chaos. Who knows? But are there any other survivors? Have you seen anyone else, Elma?
I have not. I've not at this time had an opportunity to look. I just saw we were transporting the supplies. They were needed in Bright Spear. And if there were any injured here, and you guys can each give us, I think it's awareness in this game.
It's awareness, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is that mind?
Yeah. Yes, mind, please. Not your forte?
No. Target number?
Target number will be a 4.
Okay. Ooh. No, it's not. That's not me. That's you. Okay.
Okay. Then what? You both got successes. So, with the dying down of the roaring fires and your attention able to be kind of placed back on the different parts of the ruin, which themselves are still smoldering. You can actually hear now, Jean, you can hear from the stern of the ship, there are muffled screams that are coming from the flame-wreathed wreckage of Grungnir's face. Someone seems to have made their way through part of that wreckage and is trapped within there. And Imran, what you can hear is the sound of more screeching from the Zangor in the other direction. But this time, you can hear a reply in... I don't know if it's the same... I'm going to say it's Khazalid again until I look it up otherwise. The dwarvish language of the Dwarden... the language of the Dwarden. It seems near the bow that there are survivors still facing the Zangor. And she, Elma, gets a bit of look of fear, and she says, they've returned. So you two look at one another, and each of you has heard a different thing. What do you guys say or do?
I think Imran will turn towards the sounds she heard, and so we look at Jan, and you're like, quick, it sounds like survivors are battling more of these things. Start heading.
Yeah. We shall head there straight away.
You spare a look back at the burning wreckage. You're certain if you leave those people behind, they will not survive.
You heard different screams.
Yeah, Jean heard survivors from the stern of the ship.
Right.
Imran heard battle cries of Dwarden at the bow of the ship.
It must be the survivors, I think. Or do you want to go? Or do you want to go to the dwarves and I'll go to the survivors?
The Dwarden.
The dwarven. Dwarden.
So different.
Yes.
Really. Do not confuse the two. One is totally different from the other.
There's a copyright thing they did.
I think it's like because of the length of time. Like it's I can't remember canonically how long it is, but it's something like 10,000 years that like passes.
Oh, wow.
So it's a huge gap of time during the like godly good period before the before chaos came the first time. Then there was 1,000 years or whatever it is of the interregnum where the chaos has reigned everywhere, and now they've returned. So the setting itself also has all these like really old civilizations peppered around, some of which that survived, some of which that like went underground, literally, some of which fell to chaos. But there's tons of really high, like extreme high fantasy dungeon type complexes that you can explore too. And one of the key characters in it is a trader. Like a rogue trader type character. That's what their shtick is they're just like, well, I'm trying to make a buck here. Yeah, I'll be part of the Soulbound, but really traveling around trying to make a buck here. So anyway, what you guys can assume that each of you has sort of realized that you're both referring to different things, and you have a sense that Elma may make a run for it as well, because she is looking to be fairly terrified right now.
Okay. We should rescue the survivors, for they will not survive without our help. And I will say to Elma, the safest place for you is right here, while we get your further survivors to you for your aid.
Okay.
Do not, if you move now, we cannot protect you.
So why don't you, let's see here. I think it's not intimidation. It's not guile.
And I impress her with my determination.
I think so, yeah.
Target number?
Target number will be 3 because okay. I think having a look at that. Holy Dinah. So she is well and truly heartened by your conviction. And then what do you guys wish to do?
Rush over to the... Was it the stern, did you say?
Yes.
Right. Rush to the stern and try and free them if they're held in there.
Let me get the countdown going here now.
Just hope the Duardin can look after themselves for a while.
I think Imran will head towards the Duardin.
Okay.
On the assumption that if it's like a door that's trapping these people, you're strong and have a big hammer.
Sure.
Okay. And you have a Sigmar on your side. Imran will sort of give you a nod and say, "I'll have a look and see what the Duardin if they need help."
Okay.
You look after the survivors.
So then that is very cool. All right, so you are going to head off in the one direction. Imran and Jean, you are going to head off in another. What we'll do is I need to set up these guys once again. There are... Okay. So, and they had 8. I gotta remember to go in and change the default token settings in this campaign. I need to do it on every one of mine when I create it, so I was being more responsible, but there we go. This is the next best thing. All right. So then what you can see as you go in Imran, there are... I've only got 2 on here, but there are about 10 of these things flying around. There are 6 Duardin crew members who are putting up a brave fight. These are not flying any longer, though. So they are... you can put down 2 because 2 are probably closest to you, and let's say that they are at medium range right now. So they're 1 zone away. As you come racing up through the fire, you can see these things firing at 6 Duardin who are... you can tell as well there were 10 Duardin at one point. But they are racing up towards you. And then Jen, what you can find are... Let's see. What are we going to put here? Here we'll use... Oh, I don't think this one actually works. These images... No, it works. Okay. And I'm going to let you see this. Because as you race over the burning, twisted remnants of this, what you can tell, there are 5 survivors in there. And what you will be doing, we'll drop into initiative. We'll go through the initiative order for you guys in a second here, but they are trapped behind like bits of fallen chunks of the Caradron airship. Some are, in a busted bit of the hull where there's things in the way. So what you can do for your strategy is to free one of them. Here we go. So to free them all, it's an extended task. And that is which I'll put a blue bar down for that. I do love my bars. Here we go. I think you can probably guess how this goes down. What the blue bars do, extended tasks, is every success you make on it over the difficulty, it reduces it, or every success you make reduces the total number that you need to complete the extended task by 1. This is a body might extended task, but each round I will roll a d6. On a roll of 1 or 2, one of the passengers is consumed by the fire.
No.
You can also try and breach the hull in other ways, but the hull of the ship has an armor 3 and toughness 5. Once the toughness is reduced to 0, part of it shatters and breaks away, which allows them to escape. So you're viewing this and seeing there are 2 scenarios. One of trying to dig these people out of here. One to just smash through the hull. And if you have something else in mind, you can certainly take advantage of that as well. Remember, a sphere of Aqua Garanis would be 100 drops. Could be used to extinguish an area for 1d6 rounds. So, let's drop into initiative here. I think we still have you guys in there. Yep, which means I just need to put the ye old Zangar in there. First up is Amron. So these things are firing their bows away at the surviving Dwarden. What are you doing?
Are they all in the same zone? Are they sort of flitting about closely together, or are they vastly spread out?
All on the ground, yeah. Like I'm not going to count the others. I'll assume that the Dwarden are taking some down as you are. You just need to deal with the 2 closest to you.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find I think I've got a token of Dwarden here that will count down, because each round one of them will drop. Here we go. Once you defeat these, we'll assume that the others are defeated as well. And they're not fire slayers, so let's just use this here. Here we go. So 6 Dwarden. Let you see that. And edit it. And bottom. There we go. Okay, so there's the surviving crew. Sorry, you're up first. What are you doing?
I will move so that I'm closer to them.
You know what? As the canny players you are, you may argue, Kev, I had a short-term goal of saving all of those supplies, and I succeeded in doing so. So therefore, we should get 1 Soulfire back. And I'd say, yeah, that seems like a reasonable argument to me. So, guys, I think you got 1 Soulfire back.
Nice.
Then, this is where the use of that Soulfire may generate some doom.
Yeah, I need it. I need it.
Exactly.
But spurred on by feeling that connection strength, and Imran will rush so that she's closer to them.
Yeah.
And then she will try and call upon these cloying mists again to envelop both of them.
Okay. So you'll be in the same zone as them.
Yeah.
I'll just put you over close to them, I guess. And go ahead whenever you are ready.
And I will use the metal to double my training.
Awesome.
So this targets enemies.
Okay.
So I got 2.
Holy smokes.
So,
all right.
Wow.
So
And
I guess they must make a fortitude body test and need 5 successes. Is that what the 4 colon S stands for?
S is successes, yeah. So that is a DN or become incapacitated for 1 round. Wowzers. So then, their body, I think, let's see here, is in there.
That's powerful.
3. Okay. So I need a DN4. I can't possibly make this roll, actually. I don't know what I'm rolling. Now, with Cloying Mist, are you able to extend that whatsoever, or is it only the 1 round?
Yes, it has duration 1 plus success rounds.
Whoa, nice. So that's 6 rounds. So what do you think these Cloying Mists, what does it look like as these are completely incapacitated?
They'll sort of stream out once again, sort of coming off the armor and then sort of along the ground who's like snaking towards, like maybe just like sharks under the surface of the ocean, heading towards them and sort of enveloping them completely.
So incapacitated means they cannot move, take actions, or spend metal, and they cannot defend themselves. The DN to hit an incapacitated creature is always 2.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they are well and truly. And I think you're probably. I'm going to take one Dwarden away. Whoa, no, wrong thing. 1. Not all of them. It's been a big killing dwarfs kind of month. So, hopefully Dave didn't watch this session. All right, so they are entrapped for 6 rounds.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Then it is Jean's turn. What are you doing, Jean? Help us! Help us!
I'll try 2 things. One is to clear the debris.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to try and get through this very, very tough stuff. I don't think I'll do it. So try and clear the debris as quickly as I can. But occasionally, to try and help them, I might throw out my sort of healing spirit
So
to preserve them as they are suffering.
The wreckage is a deadly hazard, dealing 5 damage per turn.
Okay.
Just to gauge how much you need to. Although you could spend that metal to add your soul to it. I think that's enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So if I can try that, but I also want to clear. I also want to try and clear the way out.
So body. This is a body might check against DN3.
Okay, it's tricky for me because that's not my strong point. But let's see what I get.
Nice.
Okay.
2 successes. Okay, so you're starting to clear some stuff away. That was your action. You have 2 metal. What are you spending your metal on?
I guess I'll spend a metal on an additional action to cast a healing spirit.
Okay, go right ahead.
So I drop that healing spirit.
Okay, DN5. Excuse me. Oh, and if you want to spend your extra metal, you can add your toughness to the, or add your soul to what's being healed.
Oh, so that would clear the metal out, wouldn't it?
That would clear your metal out, yeah. Although remember, one of the uses of Soulfire is to recover all your metal.
Right. Okay. Well, I will spend the extra metal.
Okay.
I will do the devotion.
Okay.
So,
Sigmar, protect these people.
And it's 5.
Let's see if he's listening. He is. And can your focus squeeze another success out of that?
No.
Okay. So Sigmar is answering your prayer, and the flames seem to die down somewhat, or at least protecting these people from it.
I think there is a angelic spirit which is actually holding the fire back.
Okay, nice. Help us! Help us! Then it is to Imran's turn. So Imran, these Sangor are completely encompassed by your cloying mists. What would you like to do? Oh, your metal comes back as well. Or 1 point back.
There's no such thing as concentration on spells. There's this duration of 6 rounds. Just
I don't think you have to. No. I don't think you need to concentrate on them whatsoever.
Okay. In which case, I will try and take them out while they're incapacitated, I guess.
That is a DN2 to hit them.
I think I have a...
Do you have a staff with you?
I do, yes. I have a pelagic staff. So yeah, well, I will try and... It has crushing and 2-handed, so I'll happily walk up to the first one that's being held and just...
Go ahead. It's a DN2. Hit him. Oh no!
Not very good at this.
Wow! Holy smokes! Yeah, that's Is your melee a 1?
It's poor. And,
no, the actual skill itself.
The actual skill is
that weapon skill?
A weapon skill is I've got nothing.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, no.
Not really your. Well, let's see. Do you have a ranged attack? I'm shredding your character sheet, which I should have done before.
Only spells. So I think realizing that.
No, it's a pool of 1d6. So you hit them, but you realize like maybe this is not your forte. You have one metal. Do you want to spend that on something?
Yeah. Are there any dwarves in this zone?
There are still in this zone. No, I think you've encompassed, and the ones that you have, the Dwarden firing their crossbows back are taking one or two down. So there are.
Okay, because I would try and arcane blast these two, because each creature in the zone.
Oh, each creature in the zone.
So
Yes.
I'll spend one metal to do a second action.
Sure.
And then I would try arcane blast to take these two out.
Go ahead. All right, so we'll make this actually a DN2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. Yeah, so what's it look like? Is with a gesture, I guess with a gesture, the cloying mist perhaps just.
I think that they'll turn into, they freeze up.
Yeah.
They sort of solidify around them and just slowly crush them like the depth of the ocean.
You can hear them popping as it's bringing it in. You saved all 5 of the Dwarden, and they could have cheer as you're doing so. Jean gets 1 medal back.
Yeah, I'm gauging my progress, and it's not looking great. So to speed things along, I'd like to spend the Soulfire to have every die a 6.
Nice. So how many successes that give you? How many are in your might body pool?
Well, I looked at the last thing I rolled, and there looked to be a lot more going on than I was expecting. My body is 2.
Yeah.
And my might has nothing.
Oh, so I only give you 2 successes.
So could you explain how when I rolled my might last time?
I think the +0s are just other things it checks.
Yeah, other potential modifiers.
Oh, got you. Well, in which case that's not really going to be that helpful.
What you could do is spending metal can double your. Oh, it only doubles your training. That doesn't help
which
you.
I have nothing in.
But I think
I can take an extra action, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. You know what you could do? So if you want to take advantage of that, you could make your roll. Then you could spend Soulfire to get your medal back and then make 2 more rolls because you could take 2 more actions.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So give us a might body roll first.
And the difficulty was 3.
Difficulty is 3, yeah.
Okay. So the first one.
Let's see here. It has 1. Okay. And you got no focus.
Then 2 more.
Actually 3 more because you'd get your 1 medal back and then you'd use your first action to do that.
Yes. Yep. Because I've got 2 metal, haven't I?
Yes. So this one would be
another one.
Another one. Okay. Desperately trying to go through, and then you draw on your connection with Imran. Imran, are you okay with that spend?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Nothing.
No! Okay, 0 successes. And 1 more. Nice! All right. So then that leads... Oh, nope. There you go. All right, you're halfway in there. And then at the end of your turn... Oh, I gotta roll. So I gotta roll 5d6. Here we go. I'll do it in chat because that'll be more exciting.
Oh, right. So you could. So they could all die. Is what you're saying?
What it is on a roll of a 1 or a 2, they die. So let's see.
Yeah.
Oh no! 3 of them burn to death in the fires, leaving 2 remaining. Oh, Sigmar, protect their souls. Imran, you can hear a frustrated cry from Jean. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Your 1 metal
I
back?
think, do we feel when people draw on the soul fire? Is it like an actual mystical
I think so,
connection we
yeah,
sense?
probably.
So I'm obviously sensing maybe the desperation. I will.
Yeah, it feels right, doesn't it?
There's actually a really...
If it looks like the Dwarden have this under control now, I will turn around and start rushing towards where Jean is.
That's the illustration of when the soul binding occurred.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think that you guys probably have not necessarily like a telepathic connection, but likely you could feel when that's drawn on.
And I guess I will run towards where Jean is.
Yeah, so I think if you run... Is there like a dash action?
You said earlier if you can move and then spend your action to move to clear long range.
Oh, yeah, and then you could spend your metal to get another one.
Yeah.
So let's say you come racing in to arrive at the end of this turn where Jean is desperately trying to pull this shit away to get these people out of this burning wreck. Then it is Jean's turn. So you get 1 metal back. And what would you like to do?
I guess just keep going.
Do you have 100 drops left?
I've got 147 left.
Because remember, what you could do is spend 1 sphere of Aqua Garanis, which is 100 points, 100 drops, and that would suppress the fire for 1d6 hours.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So you draw this stuff in, and with that, a great deal of your collected life goes away, but the fires within finally die down, and at your leisure, you guys can pull this shit away and bring these people out. 2 more survivors. Oop, wrong characters. Madison. 2 survivors left, but that is 2 plus the 6 or 5 Dwarden that were survivors of the crash. As you run over Imran and Jean, what do you say to one another?
I could have done more. I could have done more. I could have saved them. You see uncharacteristically a sort of a wavering and doubt in Zan's demeanor.
I think Imran will have, I assume with Soulbound, we've traveled before, she will look at that Jean and say, "Give the judgments to your god. You've done well. These people are alive because of you."
We need to make it count then.
Yes, let's get these to safety.
Okay.
The fire will not stay at bay for long in this place.
You hear now a bellowing from somewhere in the stern. And it is a cry out in Khazalid, the language of the Dwarden. And what comes stumbling out of the wreckage carrying a case and with a strange apparatus on their face. Let me see if I've got... let's see here. I'm looking for it, Anna. Hold on. Patience. All right. Let's see. Someone's agitated. My goodness. I have a feeling someone's delivering something on a Saturday or a Sunday. That is a walking up to the door level of agitation. So, just need to speak, Anna, and then you'll understand what's what. Okay, so this is an example of what the apparatus would look like. And you would both recognize that this is the setting itself, just for your edification, the setting itself has a very strong steampunk and like high kind of fantasy steampunk element to it. And one of the sources of that are the Caradron overlords, or the Caradron overlords, one of the Dwarven factions in the setting. This person comes staggering out and then pulls off the mask. And what you see is a Dwarven woman. And she looks to the other Dwarven crew members who survived, and all they're kind of like, yeah! Because this is Captain Brock's daughter. And she says, come on, boys, put them on. And what she's pulling out, there's a bunch of breathing apparatuses that she's pulling out and passing along. Emra is still here as well. So Emra comes over, she walks over to you two and says, oh, it's not just Dwarden that survived then. You're tougher than you look, elf and human. Was your god looking out for you today?
Yes, Sigmar is here.
Well,
even amongst the fires.
Well, if Sigmar can make you breathe cinders, you'll want one of these. And she hands a rebreather to each of you, to Emra, and to the two survivors of the other end of the crash. What this will do...
Take them.
Yeah. This will allow you to ignore the hazard, the minor hazard of the zones. If you get in contact with actual fire, you'll take damage, but the burning, needles and cinders and whatnot in the air getting into your lungs is no longer going to be a problem.
All right.
So it takes about a minute to get each of these set up for you, but once they do, they work pretty effectively. Apart from yourselves, the 5 Dwarden crew members, the captain, and the 2 survivors from the wreckage, it does not appear that there is any other survivor from the dozens that were on board the ship. What do you guys say? Or do?
I think Imran will turn to Dwarden, and seeing that this is, to her mind, the captain or whoever built this ship or the same sort of technology, which says, does one of you know the ways out of this hellhole of a forest?
So, Captain Brock's daughter turns towards you and says, oh, but I'm not sure you're going to like it, elf. She gestures back towards the ruins at the bow of the ship. And what you can see is it takes you a moment to kind of try and adjust your eyesight, but there's things are beginning to catch fire inside there. What you can see is that underneath there seems to be part of the land that has collapsed. And it appears to reveal a tunnel, not something dug by hand necessarily, but a tunnel leading down. The captain looks back and says, perhaps if we cannot go above and we cannot go across, we go under.
Under.
Imran will smile and look at the captain and say, I'm not afraid of the deeps. They've trained me.
Then, with the survivors collected, we'll bring our impromptu session to an end. So, guys, before we get out, what are your initial impressions of? I mean, we just had a couple scraps and some skill challenges and whatnot, but what are your initial impressions of Soulbound?
This was a lot of fun. It felt relatively easy to pick up, I felt. Despite all of the sort of little moving parts, I think sort of wrap your head around it. It was straightforward enough, and I like the method around the clash points in Jackals, where you get to sort of make decisions every turn on, extra action, doubling dice pools, or sort of little sort of what do I do rather than just I make an attack roll or I cast a spell.
Yeah.
I like the core task mechanic. I think that's really clever, the way they use scale to modify the difficulty number. That's really, really neat. And that seems to allow for a broader range of results while keeping the dice pool manageable. So that's quite nice. I like that. I probably, with more play, I would get used to the currencies and what I can do, particularly Soulfire.
The first two
I like
times,
metal, the way it just
I think you're talking about the
good.
Garanas, the Aqua Garanas. I completely forgot about the first two times we ran it, so it was a lot harder in combat. Perhaps what was intended to be, but sorry. Go ahead, Graham. I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. I'm because that is like, feel like another currency, and quite a powerful one on top of everything else. And so mechanically, I like it. It's clever. The setting, again, there's a lot going on in the setting, and I'm really, really new to it. So I think it probably benefits from time and deepening your understanding a little bit of what's going on. And it does feel very, I don't know, infused with higher powers, very high fantasy, very epic. The gods playing, or the powers around you playing a very potent effect on the setting. And the distinction between mortals and the gods feels much narrower and closer.
Yeah, your comment about the setting is something I struggled with trying to figure out what the setting, like, I can read about the different characters you can play and things like that, but like trying to figure out how as a game master I'm going to be presenting that world, because I want to be able to talk about what you're passing on the street and the atmospheric stuff. And I will say that they do an amazing job of giving you tons of environmental art for it. So like, for instance, in the core book for Bright Spear, there's lots of art from different neighborhoods. So you can, like, there's one, and in contrast, here's a little more of a seedy one. It's just underneath the disc that makes up for the center of Bright Spear. I don't think, this is a gate underground. A bunch of NPCs too. Get out of the way, guys. But it's a neat way of them giving you art, just to get a sense of what it looks like. And then I still found I had to go to the fiction. I listened to some collection of short stories about it to get a sense of like how the different things interact, because it's for me it's hard to figure out how to ground in some semblance of not reality, but like to figure out what's going to motivate characters and whatnot when you're playing such really powerful and not just like mechanically powerful, but like influential in the setting. How do you present that as a credible way? And it's a neat idea, and I think there's a lot of freedom in how you could present the stuff, but it's definitely, it has a lot more challenges to pick up and play than what the other two default settings are, because Age of Sigmar is really hard to describe in like kind of a nutshell pitch to really get a sense of what the setting is like. And then you compound that with a really interesting and really fun game mechanic, a lot of narrative meta currencies that you do have to track and take advantage of to really benefit the thing. I think it pays off for it once you've mastered that, but it's a hard game to I think to casually kind of pick up and run with. You would need to have players who are willing to sort of learn the mechanics, learn the things. I don't think it's not as hard as like Rollmaster or something like that, but it definitely asks a fair bit of the players.
How does leveling up work in this? Is it XP based.
Yeah, XP based and goal based, like all the Cubicle 7 Warhammer games, where you're setting like short-term goals, long-term goals, and then like you would be able to. I think you can afford to level stuff up almost immediately with it, if I recall. There's advancement. It's also a very archetype-based. You can just like free create characters from it, but they strongly rely on archetypes to kind of pre-spend your XP, similar to what Wrath and Glory does.
Right.
So let's see here. Endeavors. And then there's a very not involved, but like very comprehensive downtime mechanic too. So you can like the Doom element. You can actually, one of your downtime elements can be specifically to reduce the Doom in your campaign. And there's a really cool structure. I've talked about this before a couple of times, but the way that you would run an ongoing campaign, you have, I think it's rumors, threats, and dangers or something like that. Dangers are like, this is what's here right now and causing me problems. Threats are on the horizon going to come, and rumors are like things that might become dangers and then threats eventually. Or dangers and then whatever the other two things are. I can't remember. But it's a neat way of kind of, because the characters can choose to focus on certain things and whatnot, and like that's one of the ways. If a rumor becomes a threat, then that can have an effect on the Doom. Whereas if players are actively trying to get involved and address these problems before they start going, it adds a bit more of a formal structure to the kind of like sandboxy or wider world mechanics that any kind of ongoing campaign would have. But it's a neat way of tying in that Doom mechanic to it. Okay, so I was looking for XP. Advancement. 41, here we go. So you would get, if you're depending on creating completing short-term, long-term goals for your personal short-term, long-term, and your party's short-term, long-term, you'll gain XP from each of those to increase. So to get a new focus or to increase a focus, it usually costs like 1 or 2 points of XP. To learn or increase skills, 1 or 2 XP. To learn a new talent is 2 XP, and to increase attributes is more expensive. So like to go from 3 to 4 costs 7 XP, 4 to 5, 9 XP. So, yeah. So that's the game. Any closing thoughts on this? Is the first time I've run something where it's been a little more. I wasn't quite as heavily relying on a. That's not true. I was not relying on a pre-made adventure, but I was to a degree on this one for some of the mechanics. But the combat felt a lot better this time because I was. I think because we remembered that you guys can spend Aqua Garanas, because the guys faced in the last encounter they faced a giant in the last time I ran this, and like it almost squooshed the what do you call it, Stormcast Eternal character in one hit, because it immediately got through all their toughness. It's like, well, if you made use of the Aqua Garanas to recover after that, then at least you wouldn't be quite so badly fucked as you would be waiting to hope that someone casts a heal on you. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Nice, me too. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this return to Age of Sigmar Soulbound. We'll be back in the Borderland sector in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a couple of hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our Soulbound heroes have encountered on their journey to the city of Brightspear. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we played, I mean, not a campaign, but the game we played, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have channels dedicated to Warhammer games in general, as well as every other game we run on the channel, and for most of the campaigns on the channel as well. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a terrific selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If you do not have, or if they don't have in stock something that you're looking for, you can often put it on a want list, and they will send you an email when it comes in stock. And if you purchase $10 or more of product through their website, be sure to enter the code SUMMERMUSER, all caps, all one word, at checkout, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. If you're listening to this after September 15th, 2023, come back and check on one of our more recent videos to find the current discount code, which I need to follow up on tonight. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really amazing organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations that go through that link donate or benefit those kids. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman, just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, if you've donated $10 or more since June 1st, 2023, head on over to the Dungeon Musing Discord server's Charity Initiatives channel, and you'll be able to cast your vote on our next charity session. And then the final one we have this year. 2023 has flown by, and we're almost at the end of our year-long Year of Ill Omens charity campaign. Currently, voting is going on for what kinds of heroes and what game we will be playing, and then we'll be playing that at probably the end of the month or early in October, and then we will have one more session to wrap up our year-long campaign, and that'll be voting on some modern era and yet another game and yet another group of heroes. So if you have donated since that time, be sure to head on over and cast your vote. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to Graham and David. We made this decision about an hour before, so these guys jumped into a game they had not played before with characters they had not met before in a world they'd never been to. So guys, thank you so much for jumping in and giving us an opportunity to play some Soulbound again.
Yeah, nice.
So then, for those listening at home, we'll be back in the what do you call it? In the Borderlands sector? No, we are in Void's Edge cluster in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our mortal realms heroes have encountered. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.